Yo, what's up, guys? So, got some more BT8 gameplay for you guys. Over on the right, I'm playing a green version, green hybrid version of Shivamon. And then on the left, my opponent is playing, of course, everyone's favorite one-stack deck, X Antibody. I passed turn just by playing the Mimi there. And then we're going to see the Ginryumon evolved over the Sunoriza, and then going into the Coda Memory Tamer there. I am just going to start by playing the Pokemon, getting some pluses off of that. You're going to see the Ryudamon hit the field, and then the top three will be revealed, adding the Dorugreymon plus the Yuji Musha. There's such a powerful +2 there. Not only do you have Dorumon for searching your memory tamer, but now you've got Ryudamon to search the basically like the tie/mat of the deck, but of course being able to stick your materials underneath as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and evolve my Metal Kabuterimon for a cost of 1, but then gaining 2 off of the Pokemon, putting me back to 4 memories, suspending the Ryudamon. Metal Kabuterimon and the Green Hybrid package I still think is a very, very powerful deck, especially with the new tools we've gotten in BT8. I'm going to evolve into the Rhino Kabuterimon for a cost of 1. Because he's got a Tamer underneath them, I can reduce that evolution cost by 2, effectively making him a 1-cost element, really, really good for climbing into your big guys there. So then we're just going to swing into the Ryudamon, evolve into the Ancient Beetlemon for a cost of 3, deleting the Ryudamon and then trashing the top card and then piercing, checking another card. So that is a total of 2 checks all together, and then playing the JP to pass it off. So already I'm looking like I'm in a pretty good position. I've got my Mega established. I've got the Pokemon Double Tamers, Terriermon in the back, so already presenting lethal in this situation if my opponent doesn't out it. But the crazy thing about the X Antibody deck is that they have so many new tools to work with. So we're going to see the Hisaryumon Digivolved for a cost of 3. And keep in mind there, my opponent is going to forget real quick to trigger the Yuji. So we're actually going to draw another one and gain the memory. He will be at 1 currently, since whenever you bring out an X Antibody, you gain the memory as well as the extra card. So Hisaryumon is a really, really crazy card that says your turn, when you stick something underneath it via like an X Antibody underneath it, you can then Digivolve him into an X Antibody Digimon for a reduced cost of 1. So effectively into your Alphamons or your Doragoromons for a cost of 2. So you kind of get that essential like a blitz type effect, letting you climb into your Digimon even more quickly. But then of course he's also got the crazy effect of Reboot. So now we've got Reboot underneath them. The Ginryumon gives a blocker. So now you can be aggressive, check a billion cards, and then re-stand unsuspend with your Reboot blocker. So we're going to attack into the Ancient Beetlemon with the Hisaryumon. We see our opponent's got both Alphamon and Doragoromon. Going to trigger the Yuji in order to stick something underneath them. So putting the Dorumon underneath them, gaining a memory as well as a draw from the Doraemon. And then now, since you've stuck an X Antibody card underneath them, you can then Digivolve the Hisaryumon for a cost of 2. So we go into the Doragoromon, and now Doragoromon, your turn, gets plus 1,000, I believe, for each of your X Antibody Digimon, putting him well over the 13,000 threshold to be able to get over the Ancient Beetle. Now, unfortunately, I don't think I had any like hybrids in my hand to be able to play off of the Ancient Beetles on deletion effects, so that feels pretty bad there. And then of course we're not going to be able to trigger the Doragoromon's when attacking effect. Just keep that in mind. You can't actually trigger that if you've like kind of blitzed into him with Hisaryumon. And then we're just going to see the Aciduogene activated for a cost of 4, deleting the Pokemon by putting a Dorumon underneath him and then gaining a memory off of that Dorumon, effectively making the option card a 3 cost. So effectively clearing my whole board. I'm going to bring out the Terriermon, pop an egg with the Willis's on play effect to evolve into another Terriermon there, but my hand is really, really bad there. I'm going to hard play the Climbmon for a cost of 8. I definitely should have swung, oh no, actually I couldn't have swung with the Terriermon because he's got Reboot blocker, never mind. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and swing with the Doragoromon and then Yuji's effect to stick an Doragreymon underneath them, and then I believe I also my opponent also put the Dorumon underneath him with the Dorogoramon's effect, being able to have a total of 8 materials, deleting both of my Digimon, and then checking a bunch of cards, starting with 10 memory. I already know the writings on the wall, so I'm going to scoop it up. So game 2, just in a chance, like in an opportunity to get the extra card here, I'm going to make my opponent start. We see a pretty decent opening with the Tsunarizamon as well as the Ryudamon played for a cost of 3, being able to grab any of the pieces that he may need. So we're going to see the Alphamon going to hand. I'm going to counter that by playing the Bokomon and grabbing the Mimi from my hand. Unfortunately, no +2 there, and then you saw the Rapidmon off the reveal, so I'm just going to play the JP, putting my opponent to 3. So then we're going to see the Dorumon played for a cost of 3, grabbing itself, and then the Ryudamon is then going to swing into security, hitting a Terriermon. It is going to die, of course, since Terrier's 2000, and then we're going to see the Dorumon that you just grabbed, played off of its played for a cost of 3, and then of course using its effect to grab a level 4 Digimon there. So we're going to grab the Ginryumon, and then starting off with 3 memory, I do have the Metal Kabuterimon play, so I'm going to be able to Digivolve that and then gain 2 memory off that, suspending one of the Dorumons and being able to clear the board because I don't think my opponent had any really good plays there. We saw that he was searching for the level 4, so I think it's going to take him a little bit of time to set up here, and then we're just going to swing over the Dorumons there, and then Pierce, of course, checking a security card there, and then putting our opponent back down to 1 by playing the Mimi. So it's unlikely he'll be able to out even the Metal Kabuterimon or the Bokomon. He'd have to like bring out the Tsunarizamon and swing over the Bokomon, but of course he'd risk crashing. I know he's not playing anything like a Tankmon or anything like that, so I'm not really worried about my board dying here unless he wastes a card with the Ace Ryojin there, the option card possibly, or maybe something like an Ulti Flare, not sure, but I don't think it's going to happen. We're just going to see the Coda played for a cost of 4, revealing the top 4 cards, I do believe, and grabbing the Ginryumon up there. So I think that our opponent's hand is a little bit clunky. That's the thing with X antibodies. Sometimes it does just take a little bit of time to set up and get your pieces. So we're going to unsuspend here and bring out the Terriermon, and probably just going to start swinging, and I do have 4 potential swings here if I do want to Digivolve the Mimi, but I am actually going to Digivolve the Rhino Kabuterimon here, and then use Mimi's effect, pop the egg, Digivolve the Terriermon, and then play an Izzy. So apologize for that cut, but anyways, we're just going to swing into security with the Terriermon and swing into the security with the Bokomon. And if you're wondering why, well, it's because I want them all dead or suspended, because I'm then going to go into Shivamon for a cost of 3. You can actually use Shivamon in tandem with Rhino Kabuterimon because he is an Insectoid, so it's a really, really cool interaction to already one of my favorite decks being Green Hybrid, and you get to reduce the cost by Shivamon to effectively 3 since he usually costs 4. But now this means that my opponent cannot play any option cards, so no black memory boosts, no Breath of the Gods, none of that shenanigans. He's not going to be able to out my Shivamon because he's going to have to attack over it, but I didn't give enough memory to be able to do that. So I'm going to go ahead, start my turn. The Shivamon will trash the top card of my opponent's security, and then I'm just going to be able to swing for game. So guys, that's going to be game 2 with the Shivamon for the win there. My opponent is going to start once again there with the Tsunarizamon digivolving into the breeding area, and then playing a Ryudamon Searcher once again, seeing both the Coda and UG, double UG actually, so we're going to take one, but that is a little bit unfortunate. Coda you don't want to necessarily see in multiples, but UG is always nice to see at like in 2 and 3s ofs. So we're just going to digivolve the Terriermon and then play the Mimi, and then pass it over to my opponent. We're going to see the black memory boost played for a cost of 3, taking the Dorumon to the hand, putting the rest down to the bottom, and then just passing it over back to me. So we're going to go ahead and draw. Got the Terriermon. Do we have the Rapid in hand? I know I've got the Boko, so that's definitely a solid play as well. But unfortunately, Boko can't search the Rapidmon. Imagine if he could. That'd be pretty sick. But that's why we're playing the Terriermon, the BT8 Terriermon searcher there. So we're just going to grab some stuff off of Boko and then play probably like a JP or something, or just another Boko, digging even further. There's the JP and also revealing a Shivamon, but unfortunately, that is going to go to the bottom. So Boko grabbing a couple cards here, but it really feels bad when you don't get the +2 off of him. You really need the extra cards sometimes since you're not drawing very much off of Digivolving in the hybrid deck, so you typically need the +2 off of Pokemon. So we're going to put our opponent to 3 memory here, potentially 5 with the black memory boost. We're going to see Grumblemon first of all, which is a pretty bad sign. You usually never want to evolve him unless you're going for game. And then we're going to pop the black memory ghost, go Hisaryumon for a cost of 3 in the breeding area, and then swing into security with the Ryudomon hitting a rapid, of course, being able to clear the Ryudomon off the field and clear one of my security, and then just going to play the Yuji. So he's got the ideal setup as well. Hisaryu plus Yuji is a crazy combo. That is like one of the, it's just what the deck needs, like it needed to become tier 1 in my opinion. It just has a lot more speed now, as well as a lot more consistency. So I'm just going to go ahead, Digivolve the Beetlemon for 2 and then gaining 4. That was realistically one of my only plays. I could have evolved on the Terriermon, but this way I'm still at a large amount of memory and I still keep the extra body on field. So I'm going to then Digivolve Rhino Kabuterimon, start by swinging into security into the Hisaryu, swing into security with the second Pokemon. Since I've already got their effects off, I'm going to die to the Alphamon, and of course Alphamon will add to hand, but not going to be able to prevent my Digimon from attacking since we don't have an X antibody on field. I'm going to then play the Willis. Willis's effect will hatch me another Digi-Egg, allowing me to go into the Terriermon once again, and possibly just going to attack into security with the Rhino, going into maybe a Shiva or an Ancient Beetle. First going to attack with Terriermon. Since we don't have a black memory boost on field, I'm not obligated to really keep that. Going to hit a Ryudomon, so I did actually survive there. That's a little bit fortunate. And then just going to play a JP for a cost of 3. I don't think I had a Shiva or Ancient Beetle in my hand, so I'm just going to keep the Rhino on field, knowing that my opponent can't really get rid of it unless he wastes a removal card or unless he goes into Dorugoromon, and even then Dorugoromon won't be able to have 9 materials because Rhino Kabuterimon does have a really high play cost, so I felt confident that my Rhino was not going to be deleted. We're going to bring out the Hisaryumon, and most likely he's just going to start attacking. Probably going to clear the Terriermon, or if he has enough Doru Greymons in hand, he could just try going for a game here, or at least setting up lethal if he got the reboot blocker effect as well. Then he's not worried about dying to me the next turn. We're just going to swing here and then use the Yuji's effect. Yuji will then allow us to place a Digimon underneath the Hisaryu, going to place a Dorumon, gaining a couple of memory there, and then of course being able to gain and draw off the Yuji as well. Of course, our opponent is going to forget that once again. I do apologize about that, guys. The wall of text you have to go through X antibody. Trust me, if you've played the deck, you know it's just a big learning curve. So bear with me here. We're just going to go into the Alphamon off the Hisaryu's effect, paying 2 for it instead of 3, since Hisaryu does reduce the cost. And then we're going to end of battle, gaining 2 off the Alphamon. So that is just an absolutely ridiculous combo, being able to essentially evolve your Alphamon and Blitz with him for free, since we paid 2 for the Hisaryumon, but then we got that 2 back from the Alphamon's end of battle effect. So that's just really cool, and we've established our Alphamon, who's got the the reboot inherited. So if we can get blocker underneath him somehow, that would be nice, but otherwise he's at least safe for the time being from my like attacks over it. So we're just going to use the Ace Ryujin once again and de-digivolving the Beetlemon there. For a cost of 4, he's going to be able to devolve my Rhino Kabuterimon, and then of course not going to be able to delete the Beetle since it does have a higher play cost, but then going to stick one other Dorumon underneath it to gain the memory once again, going back down to 1, and then playing the Chumon for a cost of 3, and I will start with 2. And then of course his Alphamon does unsuspend because of reboot there, but I'm already in a pretty bad position, so I'm not sure how much I can do against this thing. It doesn't have blocker, thankfully, so I will be able to swing with the Beetlemon and then go into the Terriermon there, and then going to hybrid for a game. So even though my back was against the wall, the hybrid mechanic is still so broken, I think, and being able to dodge the fact that he didn't have blocker, I think, was really big. The really scary thing about X Antibody is that they can clear your whole stack and then establish a big blocker, but thankfully that was not the case. But anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for this one. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.